Thank you for downloading three different dads now with two dads. So
Welcome, everybody.
Jim, we're pretty sure Jim is still sleeping. We texted, uh Tyler just called and it went right to voicemail. So as Tyler said, we'll let Sleepy Bear sleep, and because we have to, because his phone's turned off. So do you ever turn your phone off ever?
No,
Yeah, me neither.
uh, so I forget who the hell I was with recently, but they were telling me that their phone is in silent mode from like 9 to 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Might have been one of my coworkers recently because they're like, so my job, like, we're all in different time zones across the country.
Mhm.
And so, I work East Coast, and it was interesting because I was just on a work trip to Phoenix, and some of my East Coast people were texting me like early in the morning at like
Yeah.
3 a.m. Phoenix time.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, can't make it in today, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, this is what they deal with on the other side of the globe is,
Yeah.
the early tax. But anyway, yeah, my coworker was telling me, she's like, yeah, I just shut my phone off. So if my associates text me, I just get it when I get it. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever silenced my phone in the middle of the night,
No, I
like,
have I have two phones and they are not silenced. The now my work I never take my work phone upstairs, so I guess it's silenced because I don't have it with me. It's just in my work bag and I'll take it the next day. Um but I don't know. I just it's maybe when you're on vacation, I guess. Even then, like I'm not gonna shut her down. Like if I
do
just
you
I
like do you
what
like having two phones?
I no, I hate it.
Okay.
Now the
I used
good
to like it
yeah,
back in the days of Verizon Wireless,
yeah,
and I don't know. I always felt super important, but then
yeah.
I told people that worked at Verizon, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's just dumb."
I I don't mind it. I could go at work with just my work phone, and I know
Yeah,
like if somebody needed me, my Andrea has it. I think my parents have my work number. Like they could call my work number, but I also listen to podcasts, so and that's on my personal phone. Um, I get information I need, like I might need to respond to in my personal life on my personal phone, so I can't the good thing is mostly everybody at my work just calls my work phone, because that was an issue when I first started working for the Metro Parks. My supervisor had two phones, and like half the people would call his work phone, and like half the people would call his personal phone from
personal.
work.
Yeah,
So when I got my supervisor job, like no one really knew my personal number, so that I didn't have that issue. So I like that part of it. Like no one, there's one guy that calls my personal phone, eh, um, but he
you can
doesn't
say
like.
it. You like him better, don't you?
I mean, we did. That is the guy that I did the podcast with the Metro
Oh,
Parks.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So but I don't think he realizes like which number he's hitting. So, because
probably
sometimes
not.
he'll call my work phone and sometimes he'll call my personal phone. So it just whatever. But yeah, I don't. It's not terrible, but I also this is just a weird, maybe this is a dad thing. Like I don't like having stuff in my pockets all the time.
I was about to
Um,
point out you only have so much pocket space,
yeah,
so
and
yeah.
that's and that's
Do you rock a belt clip for like your work phone then?
never. Andrea would divorce me if I had a belt clip for any of my
Oh,
phones. But yeah, I we got new phones, and it came with my Otterbox came with a belt clip, and I was like, "Look, Andrea, belt clip." She goes, "No."
nope, nope, not happening.
I know it looks that's too dad. That's like white New Balance dad.
I was just about to say that you rock your New Balance with that too. No,
Yeah,
but sadly at Verizon again, they wanted us to like show off the phones that we had on us.
yeah,
So like they would like encourage us to wear like belt clips, like like when we were working at
yeah, yeah.
least. And I was just like, dude, this sucks. So,
And phones are so big now. Like
oh, they're
it looks like you have
huge.
a laptop on your hip.
Yeah, which that's yeah, half the people rocking the belt clips,
Yeah,
they can't like their fat rolls like
yeah.
wrap around the phone and stuff. And yeah.
Oh, Jimmy's here.
Uh-oh.
He made it. Let's see him. Oh, did he chose to go with no picture? Because he just rolled out of bed. Jim, we're live, baby. We're rolling. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm good. We were just talking
We're
about
just
cell
talking
phone.
about foam belt clips, Jim. Are you a fan of foam belt clips?
I don't have an opinion on phone belt clips, I don't think.
No, just go with your
Um,
gut. Go with your gut. You
Do you
got
have
one?
do
You
you have
knocking
any
it?
opinions right now? Because you just woke up.
so phone belt clips, let's see here. I would say in the right circumstances, I'm pro.
Yeah,
Okay. We
I
we
could.
were, we were both talking
So
shit
so
about it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I could
Oh,
never be pro. Jim, you may. I
oh.
feel, Jim, are you on one of your other Wi-Fi's? I just want to make sure it's not me because I feel like it's a little choppy. I don't know, Tyler, is it choppy to you?
it was a little choppy when he came in hot.
I
Oh,
like how it freezes.
yeah,
It's-
literally just froze as he's telling us to pause. So that was perfect.
yeah, yeah. Uh, what do you think? Do you think he? I don't know. Do you think Jimmy was out late or he just sleepy?
There
Oh,
we
there you
go.
go. All right,
I think he
perfect,
was
Jim.
sleepyhead.
Good
Jim, were
call
you?
with the different Wi-Fi.
All right, were
Boom.
you? Jim, were you out late last night or were you just having a good sleep?
I was having a great sleep.
Yeah,
Sunday is my night or day to sleep in.
yeah,
Wake up early with the kids on Saturday.
yeah.
Um, a little
Maybe you
behind the
guys should
curtains
adjust the
here,
schedule.
break the fourth wall. Um, so I don't know if you guys have already talked about this. I apologize,
No,
but Lorenzo sends out a text Thursday or
yeah,
whatever it was like, "Hey, are you guys good for Sunday?" We all reply yes. Uh, Last night I am watching the Hawaii game in Vandy and
of course.
realized there's no invite. There's no like zero communication.
Yeah,
It's past midnight on the East Coast. I'm like,
Oh, you're throwing this back on Lorenzo, huh?
oh, 100%. And it was like, well, we've changed times the last couple things.
yeah.
Like normally we get the invite out beforehand. All right. It is what it is. So, yeah, I did not set an alarm to get up.
So
It's all
this is
good,
not
man.
on Jim.
It's
This is not
that's all
on
good.
Jim.
I had yeah, that's all I'm hearing, but that's all right. I had a
I
busy
mean,
day
if
yesterday.
something I said was wrong, you could say it, but
No, but this also isn't the first time that I didn't send an invite until the day of. I've done that before, and
I don't think we confirmed times. All we did was confirm the day yes
yeah,
last.
sure.
Do
So
you
Well,
want it to be a reoccurring Zoom so you can just reoccur and join? And
so here's my thing. I mean, it was just a few episodes ago that you guys learned that we record every the last Sunday of every month.
which I have
Um,
it in my phone now. I
so
literally
so
have it in
so that was my bad to assume that you would also remember that the time is the same. Really, the only time we've changed the time is for our dad draft to include people from different parts of the country.
I do have a question coming up on football season. We
Yeah.
might have to switch a couple only
Anyway,
because sometimes I'll be traveling to
okay.
Cleveland.
I
This
will
is a me
do
problem.
I
I
will
know this is
do
a me problem.
I will try to do a better job if you guys can shoot reminder. I just assumed you guys knew the time because no one said what time. So that was my deal. Anyway, we're
I
here.
was
We're
here.
ready to go.
I was here.
Uh,
for once, that's great, Ty.
for
Thank
you did miss. Hey, and let's make it happy. We're celebrating our 10th episode. So
Yeah.
you. Big one.
yeah, most podcasts I think the average is like 7, I think.
That's right when
Um
Tyler gave up there for a
yeah.
second.
Man, Jim, you don't have to be mean. You could just say I
Woo!
overslept. I mean, you don't have to throw everyone under the bus here.
I mean,
If this is the gym we're gonna get, I want you to oversleep every time and come in 15 minutes after we start because this is lovely.
hey man,
Oh,
congrats on the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was a good victory. We talked before the podcast, but we were pretty excited. We scored on the very first play, and led 28-0 at one point and never looked back. So, and
Do you script your first however many plays?
typically, yeah, yeah.
Don't
Uh,
want to give too much away, but
Is it gonna be you and Anthony Wayne pretty much for the league
this
title, do
year,
you think?
and then the
Yeah.
league, and then it'll change next year. The league will change. So,
somebody said Southview maybe.
they played Rogers and they've played Waite, but they have scored 140 points in the first two games. But the teams they played weren't very good. So, remains to be
Wow.
seen. I think they'll be 4-0 going to play Anthony Wayne, and they play Anthony Wayne and us back to back. So we'll see how it is after that.
It's a bad back to back.
It is.
Bad.
It is.
That's
Uh,
brutal.
my JV team that I coach also won 50-0, so that was good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So is Finley just fallen off? Like,
They lost a lot of their athletes from last year. Their quarterback is a D1 quarterback, and he's
Yeah, I was
like,
about to say that being said, like they have a kid O line wise. Is he O line, right?
yeah. Oh, he plays both ways, but
Okay.
he's signed to go to Ohio State as an offensive lineman.
Yeah, as a tackle.
Yeah,
Michigan was recruiting him, and then Lorenzo said he's a piece of shit. So
I
I was
did.
like,
That's
well,
not
that's good.
exactly what I. Oh my god.
Oh,
I
sorry.
just
We were supposed to keep that off the podcast.
I
No.
just said anybody can look good on Twitter. Like anybody can make highlights of themselves, but I mean,
Yeah, we were
you
talking about
recruit
that
size.
aspect. Is like
Yeah,
you want to hear
it
something
must be
crazy?
super hard to recruit in this day and age because like that kid again is a 5-star athlete. I think on a lot of the recruiting sites, but
I just don't think he's 5 stars. That's all.
Uh,
that's fine. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It's like
yeah.
who knows? I have no idea.
I, I have a nice little recruiting story, which is crazy.
Yeah,
So Prosper, where I'm at, has two high schools. We have Prosper High School and Rock Hill High School. Rock Hill is 3 years old now, I want to say, maybe two
yeah.
years old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, their starting quarterback, he's a sophomore, didn't play at all last year. He has offers already from A&M, Tennessee, Old Miss as a sophomore.
Yeah.
He's not an athlete. He's just a pure quarterback. He got these offers just from camps. He
Is
didn't
he?
play at all his freshman year on varsity
Uh-huh.
because the coach had a rule like no freshmen essentially. And it blows my mind before he even took a snap in varsity football that he's getting offer letters as a sophomore from major universities.
Is he big? Like 6'4", 6'5"?
I
Mo-
don't know that for
mo-
sure, but the
most of the
crazy thing
time.
too is like
Yeah.
so he's like they said he balled out in camps, I guess,
Yeah.
which whatever. But like he's gonna get his ass handed to him the next cut. Like Rock Hill is just a new high school. Like they didn't make juniors or seniors that live in that area like go to that school. Like they could finish out their year at Prosper
Oh,
High
okay.
School.
Yeah.
So like their junior class or senior class is like the first one that even like went through an entire school like freshmen through seniors
Yeah.
at that school, and they're in the league now. Like they just rezoned everything, and they're in with like the Allens,
Oh,
the
wow.
like they're in with all the big boys now too, and like they got their asses handed to them this week. It's just like okay, like dude, if you're in my opinion, like if you're going to be one of these dudes going to one of these major college programs, and I get like football's not a one man sport, but
Yeah.
like
But usually the best athletes do shine on a high school field. I
you
I
think
really feel like that. Like if you're a D1 athlete, you should be the best player on the freaking field, like by far.
Well, a lot of
Uh,
these kids, especially younger, when they're getting recruited by these big schools, it's not like I mean, or they get offered, especially quarterback. It's because of your size. Like, hey,
the
we're going to recruit
size, yeah,
you because you're big.
100%.
We'll be able to coach you exactly what we want you to do and how you run and how you throw and all that stuff. Because that kid from Finley, he's getting Division 1 looks, and he's a sophomore, and
He's 6'3", 185. I just looked him up for you all. Jim, he's a quarterback. He's the lineman's brother,
Yeah.
Ryan Montgomery.
So
I was telling Lorenzo he's
yeah.
supposed to be pretty good, but Lorenzo said he didn't have a great game.
He threw for a little over 100 yards, and like more than half of that was on one play. But they think they recruit size, and that happened several years ago when Perrysburg hosted its first playoff game. We played Maslin, their quarterback at the time, Danny something, I can't remember what it was, but he was going to Ohio State and he was a sophomore, and we beat him 56-6, and he didn't play very well, and he ended up going to he transferred high schools like 3 different times, had this huge block O tattoo on his arm, and eventually had to get it covered up because he didn't go there, ended up at like Kentucky and another school or something. But it's just because you're big. It's and
So
Yeah, the size
this
thing,
kid,
because like
6
this
foot,
kid has offers.
190.
I'm looking right now. He has offers from every school you
six
can think of.
6 foot 190.
Yeah.
Oh, can he? Maybe he's fast. I don't know.
Kyler Murray, dude, he's
Yeah.
like 5'11".
He's not Kyler Murray.
I'm just saying, Kyler Murray's very short.
No, yes.
This is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite images of, obviously, falsified images online. It's the one where Kyler Murray's throwing a football and somebody shrunk him down to about this big.
Yeah.
I love that one.
It is. So my daughter had her first cheerleading game yesterday,
Yeah.
and it's third grade tackle football, and the quarterback out there is just slinging it. Like, so you get 2 points if you convert a 2 point, like extra point.
Yeah.
And
Third
1
grade?
point, third grade, and you get 1 point if you run it in.
Yeah.
2 points if you pass it, and if the defense stops you, they get a point. And like they had like legit wide receiver screen plays. They had like all these different things. Like I was talking to Trey last night, and I was like, they probably threw the ball and completed it in one game more than we did our senior year.
That's not
Like
saying
they're
much.
just,
So let's put that in perspective.
but in third
Put
grade,
it in
like it was
crazy.
perspective. Who was the quarterback?
I mean,
Do I have to go
they
on? Do I
passed
have
the
to tell
ball, and their other play was just like direct snap to the quarterback and
Do I have to tell
have
you the
him run.
story
Yeah.
about what Mrs. Ailes told me? Did I tell you that story
I don't
after
think
one
so.
of the games? So we were at Ralphie's after a game that we just got beat again in high school.
So why not celebrate at Ralphie's?
But we did. We
All right,
celebrated every
All
game
right, Pete.
because we tried, and that's pretty much all we could celebrate that year
Because we tried.
because we tried. But we
Yep.
showed up and got our asses kicked. But no, I think it was Mrs. Ailes. She came up to me after one game in Ralphie's, and she's just like, "Is your quarterback colorblind?" And I was like, "No, why?" And she's like, "Because he threw it to this other team like 3 times. Like there's no one in the zip code. Like just threw it right to him."
Hey,
And at that point, I was like, "Secrets out. Our quarterback is not good." We won't name names, though. We won't name the name.
one last thing I want to bring up about this current Perrysburg football team, and I
Yes.
know you can't say much, but
I'll say whatever I want.
okay,
That's
good.
right. I will too. I'm
A
local.
friend of the program and I were speaking yesterday,
Mhm.
and he showed me a picture from the game.
Yeah.
I don't like the all white pants with the white like unless you go white helmet,
Yeah.
which would be baller, right?
Yeah.
Like let's ice those things out. Um,
This is
but
the comment. This is what you
the,
decided to go
the
with.
top of the jersey looks very bit like it's got like the shoulders, like all this, and then
Yeah.
the bottom of the pants, like they're nice pants, but they look like practice pants.
Wait till
Um,
we get home, Jim.
Care to
Wait till
comment?
we get home.
Like I feel like the all black pants there with the white top would look slick. Um, Even the helmet, dude. I don't.
I think and I could be wrong because they were ordered.
Who designs these? I want to know.
I think the kids decide like what to match up. Like I know when Krieg was there, he would ask them like, "Hey, what do you guys want to?" Because obviously we have to wear a white jersey, but he'd ask like, "What do you want to wear, black or we want to wear white pants?" I don't know what we're doing now or who decided to order them. I know there was probably just like the emblems on the helmet. there was multiple choices. So I'm assuming there was some sort of committee or kids on the team or whatever that like, hey, what do we like the best? And that's what we went with. I can't comment on like the process. I don't know the process. I don't mind the
It
jerseys.
just
I think our all black look is a lot better, but we haven't been able to wear it yet until this week. So
it just looked they both looked fine. It was just like the jerseys were very like they had stuff going on, and
yeah,
the bottom was very just bland. And it was like when it like Penn State's all whites, I feel like look clean
yeah,
because there's nothing on top, nothing on bottom. It's just that's what they are.
yeah.
And like Oregon's look flashy because like they're flashy on top and flashy on bottom. This was just like, hey, look good, feel good, play good.
I mean, they played good. I'm assuming they felt good. So maybe they
Didn't look good.
from you. I don't know. I don't pay attention much to it, but I think we looked all right. Like I said,
Jim's all
ev-
about the style. Clearly, everybody
everyone
that headband. So
everyone likes the all black, and we'll wear it. Everyone who's just listening, we just saw a picture of our friend from high school, Trey.
Those
Check
are
out
the
the
guys.
check out the YouTube page if you want to see that. We're there. That's
oh my
we will probably never ever go with white helmets because we only get one helmet and white isn't one of our colors. So it's
Okay. Do
black.
we have gold pants?
We have had them. I don't know if we have them now.
I
Those
like I dude,
those are tough. Like
how can I say that?
I'm not a huge fan of the gold pants because you got to have a lot of gold in your top. I feel like, and that just doesn't happen very often. So it's a tough look. But when we wear those, it's usually only against mommy.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I don't think Pullman had a lot of stuff that carried over from his time, but one of the things that I really did like was I think when we played them, it was like you had gold pants for the game.
Yeah, yeah,
And it is cool when you see like the old football, like 70s Perrysburg football, like that's what they wore.
yeah,
And to have that, like, I don't know. I like the gold pants thing was kind of a even though they were like really shitty and old the ones that we had.
yeah. They were like
Um,
mustard.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But it was still like you look back at some of those pictures, it was like, okay, it
yeah,
plays for like a one game
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Um,
I don't. These are the brand new jerseys this year, so I don't know if we have gold pants or not. I haven't seen anything. We get our jerseys laundered too now, which is pretty cool. So the kids just throw them in a bag on a Saturday morning, and I don't know, some company or whatever takes them and cleans them up for us, and we hang them back up.
does JV still play on Saturday?
Yes, yeah, for the most part. Every once in a while, we got to play a different day, but for the most part, it's Saturday.
Wait,
Last
there's a
year,
company now that cleans the jerseys.
yeah, I think it's part of the deal with the jerseys, maybe.
Wow,
Yeah. So like
things have changed a lot.
they never have to take anything home, which is nice because you go home, you're like,
Really?
I can't find my game pants. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean they're practice stuff, but
that was a
none
real
Oh,
problem.
none of
All
their
their
game
practice
stuff.
stuff. I was
Yeah,
about to say that was a real
so
problem. It's like, oh shit.
so so Friday afternoon, kids come into the locker room. Is everything just like in a like dry cleaner bag, like hanging in their locker?
no, it's just in one giant like paper bag, like a giant grocery bag, and they
Oh,
just got to go through it and find their jersey
oh.
and correct pant sizes. But yeah, no, we're not that. We're not that. We don't have a team manager yet to just hang stuff up and
There you
everyone.
go, Jim. Move back. You that could be your duty. Hang it all up for the guys. Get it
Would
nice,
you?
nice.
Speaking of coming back, would you guys? There's stuff I'm working on for the future of Perrysburg football. I have this idea of because I think it's cool. Like we were at Finley this past week. There was like eight kids that graduated last year that came to watch a football game, which is pretty cool. I like that kind of stuff. I want those kids to be part of the program all the time. Would you guys be like, hey, there's a maybe not so much for Jim because he lives so far away, but maybe you would want to come back for like one day, like, hey, it's just going to be not necessarily like this team or this year, but like, hey, alumni game, just a bunch of people who were on the football team.
It's
So
it's
isn't that
usually called
supposed to be what
homecoming, right?
homecoming is?
Yeah. Like I
I don't
think
know. I mean, nothing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but there's nothing ever
It's
like
never. I get what you're saying.
advertised.
It's never really been broadcast. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And it's not just like, hey, come to the game. It's like, hey, come to the game. We have this special tent set up for you, and come eat food that we provide, and come, that kind of
That's where
stuff.
you would, that's where I feel like if it was like a full thing, like, hey, like anyone that like lettered, right, for football, it's like, here's the thing, like,
Show me your letter, and you're
show me
well,
your
allowed
not
in.
letter,
even
or
that,
you're
but
not
it's like,
getting a
okay,
goddamn.
that's the list. And then it's all right, like you have your tent, and then like afterwards, we're gonna go to whatever bars around there, like
Yeah,
where it's like a full week. Like if you did that, and then like even like on Saturday, where it's like, hey, then you're gonna go play 18 or do whatever it is,
sure,
right? Like
sure.
Turn it into a golf outing. Yeah,
or not, it
that
doesn't
could
even
be
have to be
actually
a
a good
golf outing.
fundraiser. Yeah,
It could just be what like, hey, and then there's an optional thing on Saturday too. If
Yeah.
that's that, then that's one of those things where I could tell the wife, like, hey, I want to support.
As opposed to just one night at a football game. That's a good
Yeah,
idea. I like that. That's a good idea.
but yeah,
I'm just
no,
trying
I
to I'm
feel like
trying to like make it because a lot of people just leave and hey, all right, well, I guess we'll see you whenever we see you. But if it can be like, here's this thing that people can come back to all the time, and we have green space out by the fields to like have a tailgate, right? And so we can tailgate and all that stuff. Then go in, watch the game, and like you said, afterward, go have something set up already. But I just think like to keep as many people involved as we can, and people who are as they get older, those are the people who are like, hey, there's a fundraiser. Yeah, I don't live in the area anymore, and it's a local fundraiser for coupons I can't use, but I'll throw somebody $20 or whatever, because they
right.
they invite me to this game once a year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
not that
did
we're
something like
hurting
that
for
where it's
money.
like, yeah, boom. Yeah.
I
Even
like
if I
it.
don't even go to the game, it's like I almost feel like for any fundraiser, it should be like, hey kids, here's a list of people that have graduated like graduated that played football for the last like 60 years that don't live in the area.
Yeah,
Just call them and ask them if they want to donate like 10 or $20. I
yeah,
bet you would probably hit all your goals from that.
yeah, yeah. That's a good idea.
I don't want my number on there.
They might learn a hard lesson about, getting hung up on too, but
That's
I don't, I don't want my number on it. Maybe some emails, email
just shoot
addresses.
me an email. If you need, yeah, text. That's okay, I guess. But do not call me. I will shoot you down in a phone call. Who is
Brutal,
this?
brutal. How do you guys feel like your kids? I would imagine are old enough to like be doing fundraisers and stuff. How do you feel when? I mean, you guys don't go in the office a lot, but either that or I'm sure you get emails like saying, "Hey, my kid's doing this fundraiser. If you guys want something, let me know."
I literally want to say get in line.
Yeah,
Where were you, Denise, the last time my kid needed something?
that's tough. Yep, especially if
Just
this person said no.
face push him out the window. Like, no.
You
I
said that so quick, like it was an actual person, and this happened, and that
I
was
just
her
made
name.
up the name. No, I made up the name. No, but I will cave very easily to supporting other people's children because I know it's just like you just I feel like you don't want to be the guy that says no kind of thing,
Yeah,
But
any kid that comes to my door, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm buying whatever he's selling, he or she is selling.
have you ever been alarmed though at like how much it costs? Because you're like deep down, you're like, oh yeah, I'll help you out, and they're like, okay, cool, it's $25 for this popcorn. You're like, what? $25? Like,
100 all the time because that's how fundraisers are. But again, it's
okay,
like,
well, yeah,
well,
okay,
whatever,
fine,
But
fine.
yeah, I'm all the time. I'm like, gosh, even the stuff my kids do. That my kids do this, or Mateo won't do it, and I don't think he'll do it. And he's in a new building. But the past few years, they've done a kids heart challenge where you just ask for money for the American Heart Association, and that's a tough one because you're not I'm okay buying, paying $25 for a tub of popcorn because at least I'm getting something, tangible. And this is just like, can I get some money for this heart association?
Yeah,
Um,
that's how I feel about St. Jude's, man.
yeah.
$100 for the house, and I still haven't won that damn house. Been trying for like 5 years. Throw me
what do you
something.
do?
Throw me something back. At least this year they upped the prizes. Like they had like a $5,000 or a $10,000 like gift card, and somebody won a car. There's a
Yeah,
ton of different prizes,
but not you.
but not
So
me.
I don't
I didn't win anything. Still, no.
I don't think they do like those value card things here down here. Like
Oh,
the only things that my kids have done, they did like a walkathon thing.
yeah.
But once again, you don't get any like
Did you go $25 a mile, Jim, like Michael Scott?
um so they did something like that. And then I think once they get into high school, it's essentially I think they just use social media and are like, hey,
Yeah.
here's what we're trying to get to.
Help us
Here's
out.
like if we raise this amount of money, it gets us to this, and this amount of money it gets us to this. That and they target businesses, but I think like the actual like coaches go and target those, or like there's
Mhm.
like the athletic department try to like target the businesses themselves to like sponsor these particular events that they're holding or whatever that they need
Yeah.
to get on there. So
Yeah,
or
I would
maybe like
imagine
a
too.
parents
Like,
associate, like a parents club thing that like,
yeah,
hey,
high
we're gonna
school and
go with
football in Texas is probably like they. I would imagine they probably don't have to try that hard to get businesses to want to like be mainly because of the viewership and just the amount of people showing up to those games. But I could be wrong.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm sure whatever it is, like they could always be like, well, we could use more money for this or do that or whatever. Like, I mean, even colleges are getting like billions of dollars from TV revenue, and they're like, hey, we need to still raise more money. So I I don't know. Like my neighbor, she's the head varsity volleyball coach, and she just is kind of like we put out what we're looking to try to accomplish on social media usually, and like we can typically find somebody to step up and like help sponsor, like either it's a business or it's something, and we'll figure out the logistics of everything off of
Yeah.
that. So I don't know, man. Pretty soon with the NIL deals that Perrysburg's going to have to be paying out, like to get those top players coming in, we'll probably need some businesses to step up and make sure that they're
What's Perrysburg gonna do? Serious question. What's Perrysburg gonna do with all like the new development that's happening, like
What do you mean?
out out past the high school? Like, do you think? Do you honestly? This is an honest question for the two of you and all the listeners,
We will never
obviously.
split schools, if that's what you're going to ask. We will never make two high schools.
You don't think so?
Never. No, I do not think so at all.
So how do you solve for the problem of expansion then? Because like Perry, like so I heard this and it actually kind of light bulb clicked. Was I was watching this thing about, basically the premise was, there were not a lot of houses built after the last recession in '09 until recently. So they basically said there was about a 10-year gap of new housing that should have been built. So that's why the piece was about like why it's so hard to find a house now, why
Yeah.
rent's so high. And there was basically this 10 years of no builds because all the builders that got burnt before the last recession, they just freaked out and they just stopped building. Well, now I look at Perrysburg and I'm like, especially like out by Hall Prairie Intermediate, like all that, there were no houses out there like 5 years ago, and now it's
Yeah.
just exploding. So it's like, I mean, your old subdivision, Lorenzo's a prime example. Is
Oh, it's
like,
huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
not like anything out there is just massive now. So it's like, where do you? Because I don't think I'm crazy saying that. It's like, where do you put all the kids coming in?
Well, I mean, we're gonna do more levies because that's what they always do, and the the people who are the minority that doesn't like levies are the loudest people, but they're also the minority, and levies always pass, and then people complain about it and this and that. But
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have to build a new high
Do you think
school,
they'll
or
build onto the high school somehow, or what are
it was made to be able to add on to it. That's what
you're
I keep
welcome.
hearing. Thanks, Mr. Hutchison. Uh, it was made to be able to be added onto it. There's portables out there now, too. So there's ways to continue to expand that. But you're right. We have our kindergarten classes and our first grade classes are gigantic now, and that's something they know is happening, and we'll have to put levies on the ballot. You know.
I was just
Yeah.
wondering if you heard any
So,
rumors because Kurt's uncle Ron, I think he's on some sort of committee or
Sure.
board or something about future possible
Yeah.
expansion And he said that is a very like very much discussed thing is like, what do you do with, do you think about going down the avenue of a second high school, which he said obviously same thing you're saying, like the community doesn't want it, which
No,
is
and
obvious to me, but it's like, okay, if you don't want it, that's cool, but like you got to solve for all the kids coming in. So
okay, so why don't you use the money to just build another, like if you want, sure, if that's what you want to do, you still need money to split it to build another high school. So if you're already complaining about money for now, they're going to complain about it still. So just make a bigger school with that
yeah,
money.
no, I'm not even factoring in the complaints about
But
money. It's like I just think of like I don't know what you do. I don't know. Like I agree. I thought to myself like when they first built the new high school years ago, there's tons of land out there, and then they filled all the land with like softball fields and baseball
Yeah,
fields and a track field. And I'm like, that's cool, but now where do you put the expansion of a building if you actually needed to expand building?
yeah.
But
Go ahead, Jim.
so they could obviously, I'm sure probably the next thing that they'll probably need to do is either get a, what I wouldn't be shocked is if there's two junior highs at some point, right?
Mhm.
Like that's not very uncommon to have two and then they feed into one school. You could also do a freshman school. Um, and it sounds probably like, I mean, another elementary school. It's been 30 years since there's been.
I think that's the thing that they've talked. Well, at least what I've heard was they're going to need another elementary school somewhere because they've already condensed it down to like now it's K through
Or
four.
yeah,
Yeah, K
because
through
we have a
four.
fifth and sixth grade building.
Yeah, so like if you have fifth and sixth grade, and then you have seventh, eighth, like would it be crazy then just to like crazy to have a freshman set? Like freshman centers are a majority of the schools down here have a
Mm.
freshman center. I feel like, um, but no, it was, if they were gonna split, I think they would have split back in '99 when they built when they started the other one, because that was a legit. I remember that was a big thing topic that was going on then, and it was. I mean, Sylvania was the case study on what we did not want to have happen, and the problem that you run into then essentially if you built, like if you're looking to do another high school, is you would need it, like now you're taking Perrysburg and saying, okay, the high school's here, now we pretty much need to have a high school like on the other side, like you don't want to have it close to each other, like so it's like, okay, I don't know, like if Perrysburg were to do it, you'd almost have three high schools by now, because you'd have like your local one that they would have kept, the original. Then you have one over here, and then you have one on the other side of Perrysburg too. It just doesn't make sense then to have like two high schools, if like from a logistical standpoint of like how many people, like all that type of stuff, you'd want to space that out to help everything. So I don't know. I mean, I don't see Perrysburg ever going to multiple high schools, but I wouldn't be shocked. Like you get another elementary school, you get another like a ninth grade building, you look to add on to the building. Like, yeah, it's pretty easy to um like cover up a sports field if you want to expand it, and then just put something else there, and then move the sports field to a freshman center or whatever it is. Like that would probably be my thing. And two, like I get what I would be interested to know, like through Perrysburg, is like, okay, you have these like your K first grade, second grade grades are expanding, but like the problem that they run into, and what some schools down here run into, is like you built like you're projecting. It's like, okay, like this
Yeah,
is happening. They've had to like actually close some high schools like in Plano, because they built so many like middle schools and elementary schools, and then it's like it was expanding, and then it like just slowed down, right? It's like, okay, this is where it's at. So it's like, okay, is this rapid growth going to continue? And it's hard because it's like no one knows that answer 100% for sure.
yeah,
Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know.
No, yeah, but I like I said, people always complain about the levies and everything, but they always, since I've known, they've always gone through. Um, so and then like I said,
And
people
even
people
if you're
complain about it.
complaining, like, or even if you're pro school, right? Like, hey, let's go do this. And they pass this levy and do all this type of stuff. The people that are complaining and want this done, for it to affect their kid, like their kid has to be under probably like sixth, fifth grade.
Yeah.
Like you have to get a levy, you have to go through all that process. Like, so that's like a year. Then you have to do like bidding. Then you have to build the thing. So it's like before
Yeah.
you actually see the actual thing happen, it's not like a hey, let's fix this problem so next year like everything's fixed kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Yeah.
So crazy, man.
My favorite thing is just watching people fight about it on Facebook. Like they're gonna
I
solve the
love
world's
it.
problems.
I love it.
Dude, like
Dude,
they're gonna change anyone's mind.
The
Yeah.
Perrysburg social media page is just it's one of my number one sources of entertainment,
But
actually.
but Jimmy's 100% correct. No, no one's gonna change their mind ever. So
No,
it's
they never will.
no.
The only one I actually thought, well, which was ironic, was I think it was the last levy for Perrysburg, but I had already moved out of Perrysburg by then. Um, was it was the indefinite levy, and I was just like, I didn't even know you could do that, but it was like it never expires. The levy just never expires, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to put a levy on on a ballot is just say, yeah, give us this money, and it just never goes.
I
I
mean,
thought
that's
that
I
was
feel like
funny.
what taxes are. It's I
Yeah,
mean,
but usually like school levies, they go away after like a 10-year period or whatever. But I think the last one was a 30-year levy and they rewrote it to say indefinite. And I was like, ooh, that might piss off some people. But it still passed, like Lorenzo
but couldn't
said.
they
So
also like? Here's the thing I don't get. Like, let's say they write something that's indefinite, right? If they get 50 years from now and they're like, hey, man, we have a surplus here, or like whatever, or some action groups like, why do we have this levy? Like, the schools are way undercrowded at this point, or whatever it is. Couldn't they just as easily
I think you'd have to
stop a
rewrite.
levy?
Yeah, you'd have to write a new piece of legislation to remove old
Yeah,
legislation. I'm a political science major. We can talk about that more on another podcast if you want, but
a BGSU degree, dude. Just
How you using that degree? Working pretty good for you?
it's going well.
Okay.
Thought a lot about med school, law school. Still thinking about both options. So
What
I'll
was
keep you
your
posted.
when you went to BG? What was your like? This is what I want to do.
Truth be told, I was thinking about going into education, and then I think it was one random like summer or weekend night. I forget what the hell it was, but like basically it was a time that I was at home, so I was probably like doing laundry during college, and I like was watching TV, and my mom was in the room, and my mom was grading papers, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, do I want that life? Like, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah.
So like
I don't
my
know
mom's a
that.
wonderful teacher, but like that's not for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Jim, what about you? What did you want to do?
Sales something. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Me
And
neither.
this is
I
really
yeah.
like there's a whole different thing, but like there should be like classes on Salesforce. There should be classes on these
Yeah.
major technology platforms that people are doing, like businesses are using. Because if you're like a Salesforce administration person, you're making 150K a year.
Yeah.
Every company needs somebody like that, and that could be a year and a half class. Like
Yeah.
that's not like a major
Yeah.
thing.
You can get
Uh,
your certifications very fast by just going to
yeah,
like a trade school for that. Yeah.
yeah, but there's no. I mean, it's just yeah, no that's just a whole separate thing on how shitty the education system is
I
for
are you
actual job placement.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it changes. It just hasn't changed quick enough because the world changes too quick, right? So
Yeah.
like now in Ohio, they're requiring certain classes. I don't know if it started yet or will soon, but there's certain things like for high school, like financial classes, some like hands-on type class, like all these things that kids should know how to do or would greatly benefit them before they leave high school. But I think it just
I'm
changes too
talking
quick.
more like, hey, like if you want to get into a business program or you want to do this or that, you're gonna be like you're gonna understand like the top three platforms. And granted, probably in like 10 years from now, they'll probably change of what those are. But it's like if you have a basic understanding of like maybe it's just because of my job, like I'm dealing with this nonstop, but it's uh like lead flow conversions, like all this like metrics on how to generate revenue. Um, then you're going to be a valuable commodity to a company.
Yeah.
But you just don't learn any of that stuff. Like you have to take a music credit class. You have to do that, like all these other bullshit things.
There should be a there should be a credit score 101 and what it means to you. Like that should be a very, very strict class of like, hey kids, don't go to college and just max out your credit card because that will screw you.
I
I
did
think
that,
that
but I only had
like a personal finance,
500.
like they have to do something like that.
But to what you
Yeah,
what
no, I'm talking more just like, hey, you want to get a job out of high school or even like after community college, like don't go just to and get a degree in like general
yeah,
studies or poli sci,
political
right?
political
Or
science,
whatever
yeah.
it is, right? Like it's like,
We both said it.
Hey, I got a job. Fuck all of you.
I know, but Jim, you that also goes to the fact that you're 18 and 19, you know exactly what you want to do. Like what,
oh, what,
right?
but
I think
to,
that's a
but
bigger thing. Like you
well,
I
to
didn't know
that
what I
point,
wanted to do.
right? Where it's like, hey, if
All
you
right,
want to
so
like, if you want to try to go into the business world, you can do this. It's going to take you a year to understand it, and then you can go in and see if you like it. And but you've only committed a year or whatever learning this like particular program, and you can understand what's happening.
so
And
to this point, are you talking to your children already about what they want to do?
oh yeah,
I actually am for this specific reason. Is like I'm actually trying to start opening up Olivia's mind to like not just what do you want to do, but like, hey, what are you interested in? And this is actually the reason, like to Jim's point, is like I don't want Olivia just to go to college and figure it out later. Like I would like her to have some sort of like idea, well in advance of now I know a lot can change, but I'm at least trying to encourage her to like think about what she's interested in.
but
And
that's where it's like, okay, if you have like internships and everything should be a bigger thing. Like that's where it's like, okay, you just graduated high school or what, like Lorenzo was talking about the football thing meeting or whatever, like all those kids that just graduated high school, if they go back there, they should be talking to all the different people there, like older people, like, hey, what do you do, like how do you do, like that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
um I know you hate like Ohio State, but and I think Urban Meyer's a scumbag, but like he like they had like that like where
I
it's like,
didn't even say it. No, did you guys notice how I didn't even say that? That was just Jim outside party acknowledging that.
but like I know that they had like real life day or some shit like that where it's like once a week they had like somebody from an area business come in and like talk to them and like at least let those like players somewhat like network with those individuals in that company. And it's like, okay, like that makes sense where it's like, okay, you have 100 kids on the team, maybe 5 of them are going to go play in the NFL from that
Yeah,
season. Okay, like how are we going to try to advance those other, and it's all
I think
through.
a lot of college programs do have something like that, like like where it's geared towards just old alumni football players coming in, and literally they just converse with
Yeah,
the current players, and they figure out like what everybody does. But I
and
don't know
that's
how
where
you
it's
integrate that
like,
into high school. I guess I don't know.
it'd almost be like post high school, right? Like where it's like, okay, you're a freshman in college or freshman in whatever you're doing afterwards. Like here's this group, and we just talk with people about whatever. But it's um, I don't know, like the networking aspect of things, like in high school, that's really where they should be. Don't be a dick to everybody.
I gotta make that a shirt. Don't be a dick to
These
everybody.
like the real thing is like these other people could be the ones that either like introduce you to get a job or might be your boss.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think
uh,
I think that The hardest part is um, deciding how am I going to spend the rest of my life. I'm 18. I just bought an Xbox on my $500 limit credit card. Uh, when I went to BG, I went for a construction management major, got kicked out, went to Owens for education, got kicked out, went back to BG for whatever. I don't even remember anymore, just because I wanted to. And then never went back to college for like 3 years. So but I had to I had to pay a lot of money back for something I didn't even use eventually. Eventually I went to
Yeah.
Owens and graduated, but um I was also 24 when I graduated. So I kind of just knew by then because I was older. I think that's the hardest part. I do agree. Um, like, hey, we have, like Jim was talking about, Salesforce and all the stuff that he does for his job. I think there's spots for that, but then you're also telling colleges like, hey, what can we offer? Or is Salesforce even saying like, yes, please teach a class, or no, we want all this information for ourselves. We want people to pay us to take classes. That's another thing too. Like, is that stuff even available for people to put out there for classes and for that kind of stuff? Because
Well, right.
all people want
No, I
money,
don't think
you
so.
know?
Yeah,
But
like
then it's
like you're
like,
saying,
okay,
you gotta do specialty classes like for Salesforce administration, and I'm sure
but
Salesforce getting a kickback.
But how do you even know about that, right? Until you go in,
You
like you
don't.
graduate college, you're looking at all these job postings online, and it's like must be proficient in
Yeah.
Salesforce, must be like do this, this, this. It's like, well, shit. Like if I would have went the other way and got really proficient in this one thing, then at least like it gives you that leverage when you are having these interviews compared to somebody that, hey, I have this college degree. I have no, like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'll learn and kind of go versus like, hey, I'm 20. I took these classes online and I could actually like completely, I understand, I understand the in and outs of X program. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's any, or that's a lot of professions though, right?
Right. But I feel like that's not even something like when you're graduating high school, I had no idea, like,
Yeah.
where it's like, hey, here, like, if you were to get really good at these things here, you really don't even need a college degree
Yeah.
because it's all very like, hey, go get your degree, like, figure, like, once you have this, then you can get your job and then you can figure out that, like, go through these different things. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Um,
All right. Well, we've been on for an hour. Jim's been on for 45 minutes.
that's damn 45 minutes of you.
That do we have dad jokes? I don't know if we have any. Tyler, do you have one? If not, I can go first because I have one.
Eh, can you go first? I'm not.
While
I'm
you
like
guys
I
look
have
one up.
one, but I'm not really settled on it. So I'm like, I don't know if this will play. Should I just fire it off? It is a dad joke, so I should probably just fire it off. You
Just
ready?
do it, man. Just do it.
Barbers, you got to take your hat off to them. That's it, Jim. That's the joke.
When you look for dad jokes, sometimes I'm looking for them and I'm like, that's too short. I want something a little bit longer. But then I realize like, what's a dad joke? It's just
It's yeah. It's just
except the
like
one George did.
half of the dad jokes I'm noticing are just sayings. They're not
Yeah.
even like there's no like beginning, middle, and end. They're just sayings.
Yeah. I have one. Today my son asked, "Can I have a bookmark?" I burst into tears. Almost 11 years old and he doesn't realize my name is Lorenzo. Dang, that was a slow build. I like it. I like it.
Oh,
That was
that was a
good.
good one. I like that one.
All right. So, why are elevator jokes always a hit?
Because they play on so many different levels.
See, I feel like you already Googled this.
No.
Also, we didn't make a rule where you can't just, if you know
Oh,
it, just
okay.
let it
Jim,
go.
Jim, go again. I'm sorry. I will not share.
No,
Go
no,
But
that
no,
again.
full transparency, Jim. I used that joke on my company the other day. They loved it. They loved it. I've actually integrated dad jokes into my Zoom meetings to like for like a intro, like an icebreaker,
Yeah.
people hate me now. So that's good.
Now?
Well.
That guy at the company, huh?
They hate you. Good point, Lorenzo. They hate me more. You're right.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on, Jimmy. Sorry we're waking you up early every couple weeks.
Hey, man, it's play. I would have been up. I didn't have a
I'm not blaming. I'm just saying. Sorry.
Did you
I
notice
didn't
how
say
he
nothing.
almost said it was a pleasure, but then he cut himself off because he's like, it's not been a
It
pleasure.
wasn't. It wasn't at all. All right, guys.
Congratulations to you, Lorenzo, on the big win. Who does
Thank you.
Perrysburg have next?
St. John's 0-2.
Ooh.
They lost their first 2 games. They played Dublin Jerome and Anthony Wayne.
Hot take on St. John's, because again, I was talking to the guy that does their broadcasting. Their offense sucks.
Yeah.
That's not from him, but he said their defense is pretty good. They haven't given up a lot of points, but their offense cannot score.
Well, it also depends. Yeah, it also depends on who they play. They played their Anthony Wayne game was only 10-7. So
yeah, he said it was that. He said that one was close, and then their game just the other day was close. He said,
yeah,
but he said their quarterback, they had like a minute left, and they had a chance to win at the end, and he said he ended up taking a sack, which is with no timeouts, which is like obviously the worst thing you can do with no timeouts, driving the field, and so he said their offense struggles is what he told me.
Yeah,
so you can use that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
got a coaches meeting tonight. I'll make sure to tell him my friend Tyler said.
Hey, so I was on this I was on this podcast with this guy. Said their offense is really good. How can we use this?
Quarterback likes to scramble. This is direct quotes. Quarterback likes to scramble.
How can we use this?
There you go.
All right.
I just picture you guys at a whiteboard like, hey.
Write it up.
All
there.
right. Yep.
Offense struggles.
Tyler.
Anonymous source.
All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your Sunday. This has been 3 Different Dads.
3 Dads. See you guys.
Incorporated.